Hi guys, welcome back to the Gamer Muscle YouTube channel and welcome back to the Virtual Reality Racing Club. We are still here and this time we are on the motion rig, the SimTech Pro motion platform, but you'll notice adorning our head like a crown, a future crown that future kings will wear is a Vive Pro. Now, I briefly used this a while back at the McLaren Shadow event, but only for like 10 minutes, but this is the first time I'm actually using it a little bit properly after fiddling with it, and so I thought we could do a little bit of a video. I'll talk about what it looks like with the Vive Pro and the difference between the Vive Pro, the Oculus Rift and the normal Vive, and we're going to drive it. Now we've got Assetto Corsa on the screen. Let me just double check the recording, we're all good there. I've got Assetto Corsa on the screen because AC, as you guys know, I mean, come on, it's Assetto Corsa. It's basically, it's the best sim for VR. Well, okay, iRacing and Assetto, very good in VR, but I like Assetto. I'm a Assetto Corsa fanboy. So we've got this here, and the first thing you notice before we drive, you do get, with the Vive Pro, quite a big jump in clarity in terms of, it's obviously a high resolution display, and you notice that more with the cockpit. Like the cockpit just looks really crisp. The screen door, actually, is way more diminished than on both the Rift and the Vive, massively compared to the normal Vive. I'd say it's like sort of 25-30% better than the Rift in terms of screen door, and about 50-60% better than the normal Vive in terms of the screen door. So huge difference compared to the Vive, a nice upgrade compared to the Rift. That, I say, the cockpit, that makes a big difference with the cockpit. Looking into the distance, you can see a bit more fidelity. Let's start. I'm going to drive after I say this. Looking into the distance, you can see more fidelity in terms of the actual road surface, the skid marks, than you can on both the Rift and the Vive. But when you look really far into the distance, you know, you're still only able to see properly clearly about 250, 300 meters, and then then you get that old VR distance thing. So the Vive Pro is not the silver bullet. Oh, that's it. I've now got 100% clarity vision, but it certainly is a massive improvement in just initial fidelity. I have to say the cockpit just looks really nice, and one of the things I have to say about one of the things I really like about the normal Vive compared to the Rift is that it's got a wider field of view. So what's immediately around you is more apparent. And it's definitely, I think it's more, the Vive is more immersive in terms of that fundamental placed in the virtual world quality of VR. Whereas the Rift performs really well, it looks really crisp, fantastic quality to price ratio, but the Vive gives you more of the VR awareness, but it didn't have the clarity, whereas the Vive Pro gives you like that Rift clarity, if you will, but with the wider field of view. Hopefully that was clear. I don't know if it was, but hopefully it was. Now, get into the flow of this a bit. You could just peer over the bonnet and talk a little bit about the combining of the VR with the motion rig. We said this in the previous video. It just makes sense, guys. It's a shame that motion rigs, they're not cheap, because when you combine VR, as I said before, with a steering wheel with force feedback, is fantastic. But then when you combine it with a motion rig, I mean, because the VR blocks your view of the sim rig, and you feel like you're placed in the world and you're sat in the car, your brain automatically sort of goes, oh, where am I? What's going on? I'm confused. And then your brain goes, oh, there's motion there. What do you associate those feelings with? Oh, it's very similar to when I've been in a real car. And so your brain's kind of filling in the gaps for you, and it just makes sense, and it really does makes it feel as if you're actually in a car so much more having a motion rig. Damn shame, as I say, that they're not cheaper, because otherwise everyone would have motion rigs. And I mean, the sim vibe, the stuff I've got at home with the seat you sit on with the rumble motors, that's really nice, that adds to it. The fans I've got as well, really nice, that adds to it. But at the end of the day, for raw immersion, having an actual seat mover, be it like a D-Box or this the SimTech Pro with the sim vibe controlled seat mover, at the end of the day, the motion rig, it really, it's really good. Whoa! Doesn't make you a good driver though. Right, I want to get a semi-focused lap out of this. Now, I've just noticed coming around that corner there, the extra clarity you do when you look at the. It's probably a bad habit. It's probably not good driving. But when you look at the curbing on the inside here, going around these corners, the clarity of the curbing is a lot sharper. So, again, it does make a little bit of difference for being able to sort of clearly place the car, see where you're placing the car. I would have to go directly from headset to headset to be able to give it a really objective quality difference, but it does perceivably, it does feel as if there's quite a jump in quality when looking at the curbing. It's that sort of, it's probably that 50-60 meter range actually where you're getting the additional with additional details coming in. Helpful for actually seeing those smaller brake markers or hitting those brake points when you're coming into your corners, because I still think even on the Rift, it can certainly be hard to see some of those brake markers or hit those brake points as they're coming towards you. What I'll do actually is try and read out the brake markers as we come up to them. This lap's not going to be amazing, guys. Apologies here for the driving. I've spent a couple of hours on this rig since I've been at VRCC, but you know what it's like when you get used to your own rig. It's hard to jump into another rig. So those are the excuses. throw the excuses out. Try and find a place on the circuit where we can look at the. Right, here we go. There's a nice small brake board, I believe, at the top of this hill on the left. So I'm going to roll the car forwards until the numbers are actually clearly legible. I was looking at the one on the left here. There's the 200 meter board there. It's clear. Let's go back using the 200 meter board on the right as a reference here, and let's go let's go on the right. Okay, so at this distance, the 200 meter board, like, I can tell there's 3 separate digits, but they could all be zeros. Let me just have a little peek on my screen here. So, I mean, you can't really see the quality in the recording, unfortunately. So you're gonna have to just go by what I'm saying. Don't trust me. Could be lying. But so there's 3. I can tell there's 3 separate numbers on that 200 meter marker board there, and it looks like 3 zeros to me. As I edge forwards here, there we go. So that's a 2 now. So that's very clearly a 2, and I am. We've got a 300 meter board. Right, that wouldn't make sense to have a 300 meter board here. That would have been sensible, wouldn't it, guys? And I'd be able to give you an exact distance, but it looks like that's about 50 meters away. Oh, yeah, 100 meters. No. So that's, yeah, you can tell by the 150 meter board. So that's 50. Look at the 150 meter board, and that's still 100. I can see that's 150 clearly. You can see that's 150. You can see that's 150. Now it's kind of blurring together, and now I can just tell that's 3 digits. So 150. Yeah, so it's 100 meters really that you then start losing clarity, and 50 meters that you lose the finer details. So pretty much what I said earlier. Pretty much about 50 meters you're getting high quality, and 100 meters usable quality. Anything after that is a bit of a blur when it comes to details. So, you know, there's still room to go with VR and screen resolutions and clarity, and I'm sure having the active lenses for having your proper eye tracking and everything, I'm sure all that will come into it to improve that. So there's space to improve, but the Vive Pro, definitely you get a nice quality jump. You get the field of view of the Vive with a slightly better screen door and quality of the Rift. That's probably the best way for me to summarise the Vive Pro. And then compared to the Vive, you've got the headband, which is easier to take on and off. I've not put enough time into it to really, fully sort of talk about the ergonomics. It's kind of something you have to test with a bunch of different games. I've not had a chance to do that, so we'll talk about that in future videos. But yeah, a massive improvement on the Vive, and a nice sort of 20-30% improvement on what you get from something like the Oculus Rift. Now, I want to drive a little bit faster here. Just enjoy the just enjoy the feel of the car go around the corners here. I mean, just VR how you're placed in the vehicle, guys. I don't know how people with screens, they're like, oh yeah, screens are fine. It's like, I know I do a lot of streaming. I use a screen for streaming. A screen for streaming is convenient. It works. You don't need a beast of a machine. You know, you get good performance out of it. Screens have a place. But VR, guys, I'm in a car. I'm in a car. Come on. Oh, dear. Maybe those people just need more convincing. I don't know what else you can say. Anyone that's not tried a VR headset, give it a go. Give it a go. It's going to blow your mind. And I can't wait to try this Vive Pro actually with a Formula vehicle, because Formula cars, you know, because they're open, you get. I don't know, they just tend to work better with VR. I guess it's because you're closer to the ground, so you get better perception of speed. And that's the thing with VR, you actually can feel the speed of the vehicle in a way more intuitive way than you can in 2D. Oh, right, I'm going to do one more final lap here. I don't want this video to go on too long, but it's just it's absolutely incredible. I'm going to steal this motion rig. It's got wheels on the bottom of it, the SimTech Pro rig. I don't think VRC will notice if we wheel it out the door. I think the train conductor on my way back, I came here by rail, they might notice, or might complain about me taking a motion rig on the train through London. I'd have to push it from Euston Station to St Pancras. They might notice. But where there's a will, there's a way. That's a top-notch video there. Stealing a motion rig. Oh, come on. Come on. Go in. I can't even beat my own ghost here. I think that's another thing that I noticed with VR in general. You get more into a zone with it as well. Even when I'm here focused on sort of recording a video and trying to convey to you guys what this Vive Pro headset's like, and the general experience. And even then, I'm kind of just getting into a flow of driving. It's like I've taken some drugs or something. I'm just like, zoning out. Let's nail this corner. Oh, throw it in a bit. Nice suspension travel there. Back of the car, hitting the curbs a bit. Tell you what, actually, I've just noticed the lighting on the Vive Pro, the screens on it. I don't know if it's OLED. I need to double check the specs. But the rev lights on the actual in-game steering wheel are a lot brighter than what I remember the Rift. So, and maybe even with the Vive, to be honest, the actual brightness of things, the contrast and the colours, it's more of a warm, it looks like it's got more of a warm colour to it, whereas the Rift I would describe as more of a cool image. Obviously, you can adjust that, and it depends on your settings for your post-processing AC and the other games. But the contrast, the main thing, notice that with the Vive, compared to the Rift, it seems to have better contrast, better brightness, which I think adds quite a lot to the immersion in terms of raw VR. This again sort of carries that forwards. Again, this is like it takes the benefits of what the Vive has, and then sort of takes the benefits of what the Rift has, and puts it into a single unit. Now, the obvious downside is the Vive Pro is really expensive. I think HTC could really do with bringing the price down with the device if possible, and then that would make it really appealing. Other than that, this is a really nice step forward. So there you go, guys. I think as far as that video goes, hopefully it kept you engaged there. Thank you for watching this. We've got more VR videos coming. We'll have more HTC Vive videos and sim racing. Obviously, don't forget we do live streaming. So make sure you click that subscribe button and make sure you give this a like if you enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it, what are you doing? Get out! Get out! Why are you still here? So bugger off. Don't. Oh, you're gonna push the dislike button now. I've insulted you, but you can do that. But don't bugger off. Until the next video, guys. Thanks for watching, and goodbye, everyone.